What up, your Timbers here. Now, with History of the World Part 2 premiering tomorrow on Hulu, I'm of course doing my reviews for Mel Brooks films. And now here is my review for maybe one of Mel Brooks' best comedies, and maybe one of the best spoof comedies of all time. And that is Blazing Saddles. Now, of course, before the spoof movies, we had modern nowadays like a scary movie, disaster movie, epic movie, and all. There was, of course, a time where spoof movies was a bit more of a thing, and Blazing Saddles was one of them. I mean, Blazing Saddles is pretty much like a satirical take on the Western genre, and you had the late great Gene Wilder, Cleveland Little, and you have Cleveland Little who plays this crafty railroad worker named Bart, who becomes the first black sheriff of Rock Ridge, a frontier town about to be destroyed in order to make way for a new railroad internationally. And the people of Rock Ridge harbor a racial bias towards their like new leader, but they also warm to him after realizing that Bart and his drunk gunfire friend, played by Gene Wilder, are the only defense against a wave of thugs sent to rid the town of its population. And let me tell you right now, Blazing Saddles would not go well in today's modern world. No way. Nowadays, if you actually watch Blazing Saddles on either any streaming sites or even on TV, it'll have a texture before the movie begins. Laying having a warning saying that this movie was like made. I can't remember the actual texture, but it'll have like a warning saying that this movie was made ahead of its time and stuff like that. So this movie might actually find most folks offended nowadays. Which, hey, this movie came out around a very different time, But Blazing Saddles is awesome. Come on, man. Gene Wilder, you had Dom DeLuise was in this, Madeline Kahn. You also had Harvey Korman was in this. Count Bass has a fun cameo. I mean, this movie is great. Definitely one of the best Western comedies of all time, in my opinion. The humor is great. Gene Wilder. I mean, my favorite Gene Wilder role will always be Willy Wonka, but obviously I will always go to his performance in this. Blazing, like Gene Wilder, he was of course a comedy legend, and here in Blazing Saddles really shows us all of how great he was. I believe this was like before Willy Wonka, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong there, but of course Mel Brooks directed this well. One of the writers was, of course, Richard Pryor, which I always thought Richard Pryor was actually in this, but he only was like a writer on the film. He never actually starred in this. But yeah, I guess you can't really be crazy to really think that Richard Pryor actually officially starred in this, because Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor were like very comedy icons and were comedy team ups at the time. But that aside, of course, you even had Sam Pickens was also in this. Mel Brooks actually plays multiple characters. He even plays an Indian chief, which, yeah, we already know that definitely won't go well today. Dom DeLuise are great in this. Count Bass playing like his character, pretty much playing like himself is really fun. You even had Ralph Mazza, who dresses up as a Hitler in this. It is a really terrific film. It's very entertaining. Definitely, really is a nice way to like spoof the the Western genre here. And of course, ever since the films got released, there has been like films that were trying to capitalize on the success of Blazing Saddles. Like most recent, we just had that animated film of Paws of Fury that had Michael Cera and Sam Jackson in it. That was pretty much like a spoof, like a homage to Blazing Saddles. But yeah, I mean, this is a terrific film. It has some fun, entertaining moments. Performances is great. It's just not a movie that would get made today. And yeah, I mean, if most modern folks watch Blazing Saddles today, yeah, they probably won't even get it. But hey, that's the world we live in, I guess. That aside, If you guys have never really seen Blazing Saddles, do yourself a favor, go watch it. Let me see where you can find it. You can mostly like rent it on Prime Video, Vudu, Apple TV. I mean, I was actually lucky enough to watch this in theaters one time back in 2016. It was around the time that the late great Gene Wilder passed away, and AMC theaters, was showing like two of his films. One of which was, of course, Willy Wonka, and the other one was, of course, Blazing Saddles. And I actually, decided to watch both of them that week. And Blazing Saddles, it is fun to watch this on the big screen. So, but if you guys have never really seen it, you probably rent it somewhere. But yeah, I could probably, or maybe wait till it's like on TCM or if it's ever on TV. Give it a go. It's one of the funniest comedies of the '70s. Anyway, let me lead you guys. Have you ever seen Blazing Saddles? If so, what so? Were you a fan of it? Were you not a fan of it? Favorite scenes, favorite moments? Where would it rank in your favorite Mel Brooks films? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Silver sign out.